My name's Angus Bajent from Steinberg, and I'd like to tell you today about a new software and hardware system featuring advanced integration between these two worlds. It's made up of a software DAW digital audio workstation, a Firewire hardware I/O device, and a controller, with all these different components melding together to form one system, offering many advantages for anyone mixing, recording, or producing music. And the great thing is that it's centered on Cubase, the world's most popular music production software. So let's have a look at some of the I/O capability on our new system. It's the MR816 CSX and MR816X. So why the name? Well, MR stands for mixing and recording. The 8 denotes the 8 Class A microphone preamps on both units. 16 stands for 16 channels of I/O on each stackable unit within the system. The CS stands for channel strips, which denotes the sweet spot morphing channel strip running on the DSPs. And the X stands for RevX, which is the high quality reverb, which also runs on the DSP on both models. And you might know that reverb from high quality Yamaha audio consoles. Now you can stack up to 3 of these units for a total of 48 channels, input and output, using only one Firewire connection on the computer. So it's a very expandable system. As you'd guess from the names, the only difference between the two units are the channel strips running on DSPs. Apart from that, both units are identical, sharing the I/O capability, the advanced integration into Cubase, and the RevX reverb. So let's have a look at the I/O on both units. First off, the mic preamps. Now these have been designed for absolute first-class audio quality. We could present you with stats and specs now, but you can read up on that on our website. But the fact is that these preamps and the converters behind them have been designed to sound absolutely fantastic, and they do. So we encourage you to compare it to any other Firewire I/O device out there, and we're pretty sure it's going to compare very favorably indeed. The XLR inputs also double as line inputs, so you can connect just about any analog signal to these connectors. Now we've also got high Z inputs there for recording electric guitars and basses, for example. And there are also 2 independent headphone outputs as well. The ADAT port also adds 8 channels of digital I/O for each stacked unit, and the MR units also feature SPDIF and word clock for full professional recording capability. The output section offers 8 balanced analog outputs as well as 2 insert channels. The MR also supports ASIO, so you can use the MR with any DAW application that supports Steinberg's ASIO protocol, as well as with any core audio supporting application on the Mac. Now if you don't have a DAW at all, you can use the special included Cubase AI version, so you can get mixing and recording using the advanced integration capabilities straight away, right out of the box. But the MR units are so much more than your traditional I/O boxes or interfaces. They both feature what we call AI, or advanced integration. And what that is a whole new architecture that frees you up from traditional hardware-software paradigms by mirroring hardware and software at all times. We're going to show you how some of that works right now. A key technology here is true integrated monitoring. Instead of having to manage the signal routing and set up myself on multiple levels, true integrated monitoring manages the entire monitoring setup for me from within Cubase, with all audio streams in perfect sync. This is very easy to use because it's so transparent, and that leaves me free for the creative part of recording and production. My singer in the studio next door needs a no latency headphone mix with EQ and reverb, all with no latency, so I'm going to set that up right now. I'm going to set up a mix using the onboard DSPs on this MR816 CSX. The sweet spot morphing channel strips are a very easy way to get a sound set up very quickly, just by turning the knob and morphing through the presets. Very easy to set up this way. The left knob increases the drive on the compressor, and the right knob morphs through the presets. Now, there are 8 instances of the sweet spot morphing channel strips on the CSX version, which you can also use as a VST3 plugin during mixing. Now, you saw that I was adjusting the DSPs from the hardware, but I could just as easily have done it within Cubase, because the hardware and the software, even on the DSP level, are completely integrated with each other. Okay, now I'm going to set up a nice sound for you for your headphones, so you just let me know when it sounds good for you.
All right.
All right, cool.
Okay. Yeah. You've got to run away. You want to change the brand new day. Yeah, sounds good. Great.
Okay, cool. Great. I'm going to add a little bit of reverb as well. Okay, so let me know if that's good for you as well.
To let some dream come true. Right after everything that you...
How's that?
Yeah, that's good.
Okay, excellent. Okay, so now I've got her headphone mix set up, and now I'm going to show you another very cool feature, and it's called Quick Connect. Now, Sandra's input is routed onto the selected track with 4. I get visual feedback here that this channel is routed to the selected track in Cubase. If I didn't have an input bus created for the project, the Quick Connect button would automatically create an input object for me. Now, if, for example, I would want to use another microphone that I had on input 5, all I need to do to activate that input channel for the track is click on the Quick Connect button for that channel. It's as easy as that. And just by clicking on the channel 4 button again, it's rerouted from her microphone to the input track in Cubase. So very cool and convenient way of managing my routings. Okay, so that's the headphone sound set up for Sandra, and we're going to do a take now. Are you ready to do a take, Sandra?
I'm ready, yes.
Excellent. Okay.
You've got to run away. You want to change the brand new day to let some dream come true. Right after everything that you've been through, you'll find it all in the things you do. That's how you want it to. It's 1, 2, 1. There's so much more.
Brilliant. Sandra, thanks very much. That was an excellent take.
Oh, you're
Was your
welcome.
sound okay?
Sounded great.
Sound was great?
Yeah.
No annoying latency or anything like that?
Not at all.
Brilliant. Thanks very much. Excellent.
All right.
Okay, so just to recap, I've created a no latency mix for a performer for her headphones from within the DAW without the need to go to an external mixing application. I've also used onboard DSP effects for that mix, and I also showed you the Quick Connect feature with which you can reroute tracks on the fly within your Cubase project. Now, to help me mix, I've got the next part of our new hardware-software system right over here. It's the CC121 Advanced Integration Controller for Cubase. It's designed specifically to work with Cubase. The Cubase Ready lamp lights up, and it's ready to go. It's completely plug and play, with no further setup required. Now, CC121 is built to extremely high manufacturing standards, with metal casing and precision components. And when you combine this dedicated Cubase controller with the mouse, it makes for a very fast and efficient workflow with Cubase. So let's take a closer look at CC121. On the left-hand side, we've got a set of dedicated controls, which are basically Cubase track functions in hardware form. Now, starting on the left here, we've got a precision motorized 100mm touch sensitive fader, which has got an excellent feel to it. Next to that, we've got the channel settings from Cubase. We've got mute, solo of course, read-write automation, record arming, monitor button, and so on. I can also open the channel settings using the E button, which of course anyone who's already familiar with Cubase will already know. At the bottom, if I've got a VST instrument track selected, I can also open that just by clicking that button. Now the EQ section is also very cool. This is basically the channel EQ from Cubase in hardware form, with dedicated controls for Q, frequency and gain for each of the 4 bands, including a bypass and EQ type button. The transport control section below that is exactly that. No fuss, no frills, direct access to the transport functionality in Cubase, which is such an important part for any good controller. Because these dedicated controls are fixed to one function, I'm very fast using this controller, because I don't actually have to check what these controls are assigned to. They just do what they say. Once I've memorized where these controls are on the unit, I don't even have to look at it at all anymore. And that's what's so unique about CC121. It keeps you focused all the time on Cubase. It keeps you creative. But as well as the dedicated controls, I can also use the CC121 to control just about any parameter in Cubase. Now, how does this work? It's with the AI knob. Now, this is a very smart bit of technology, and what it does is it uses the mouse pointer to take control of just about any parameter setting in Cubase. I just move the mouse pointer over it, and it assumes control over that parameter like this. Now, if I move the mouse pointer to another parameter, it assumes control over that one. Very easy to use. Now, if I want to keep control over that parameter while I'm moving the mouse pointer somewhere else, I just lock it. Now, when I move the mouse pointer somewhere else, I'm still controlling that same parameter. So it's very fast and very easy to use. This works for any Cubase parameter, including the VST mixer or the VST channel settings window, but it also works for the included VSTIs. So if I, for example, open an instance of Prolog, I've got exactly the same control there. Now the AI knob also doubles as a jog wheel, so I can jog around my project very quickly. Now there's an additional section up here with 4 buttons and a pot that I can assign to just about any Cubase function at all. So there's additional flexibility there. So CC121 adds dedicated hardware control for Cubase in a way that keeps me focused on my project at all times, keeps me creative. So it's a very fast and very flexible way of working with Cubase. Now, you've heard the name Yamaha mentioned a few times during this presentation. The reason is that Steinberg is part of Yamaha. And the software engineers at Steinberg and the hardware design experts at Yamaha have worked together to create this unique system that you simply won't find anywhere else. Now, all the hardware units you've seen today are built by Yamaha at their manufacturing facilities in Japan, so the build quality on these units is absolutely awesome. If you want to find out more about this unique system, please go and ask your Steinberg dealer for a hands-on demonstration, or visit our website at steinberg.net. Thanks very much.